Sí, muy bien. When you come back from discussion room, make sure you unmute yourself. Unless you got fur babies who are noisy. That doesn't happen often, but every once in a while. De vez en cuando, ¿no? A ver, aquí vienen todos. We'll have everybody else coming in pretty soon, Muy pronto. Okay. Well, okay. Aquí vienen todos. Here comes everybody. Aquí vienen todos. Magnifico. Make sure you take yourselves off of mute because you may want to ask me some questions at this point. I always pause after this and ask. As you spoke with each other, did anything come up where it was awkward for you to express an idea, or you didn't quite know how you wanted to structure it, or any question that you want to ask, because there are no
something. My friend loves dogs, and when I was talking about we're walking together, when we walk together and she sees the dog, she always has to greet a dog. So I was trying to say that she tiene que, and then I looked up the word to greet. They said saludar.
Saludar.
Saludar. And
saludar.
Do I say, what I was trying to say is each pet that we see, but I don't have to put an A, or do I have to put
you would put an A.
I would.
You would say A.
That's the question.
Ella saluda a todos los perros.
Okay.
Ella saluda a todos los perros.
Okay.
She greets all the dogs. And why would we use an A? She doesn't greet to the dog. Why would we use A?
Because they're pets.
Because they're pets.
Even if they're not her pet, they're somebody's
Somebody
pet.
loves them.
Okay.
Somebody loves them.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything that is a near and dear,
Someone.
house inhabitant of yours, be it a bird, dog, kitty, cat, turtle, lo que sea, whatever it may be.
Snake.
Lo que sea. Serpiente, espero que no, pero es posible. Aquí es posible. Okay. Anything that is a near and dear lives in the house with you. And, we'll assume that all those are beloved buddies too. So sure, we use an A. Saluda a todos los perros.
Okay.
She greets all the dogs.
But Marilyn, just for animals in general, you would not, unless it's a near and dear?
Only if it's a domesticated.
Okay.
So for example, si eres granjero, if you're a farmer, your horse might merit an A, but all your chickens, probably not. Too many of them, they poop all over the house. Nah, not so much. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends, your dog that
What if
follows
you
you
give them
around.
names? What if your chickens all had names?
Well, okay. See, then, entonces sí depende. Really, it does depend upon the point of view of the person.
Okay.
Yeah, but you will, when those animals receive the action, in this case, the action is, hi, babies, hola, hola, ¿cómo están todos? Sí, and then saluda a. Now, when somebody says it, however, saluda a los perros, they'll just drag out that a from saluda, will drag into the a from a los perros. So it's going to sound very seamless. It will not sound like saluda a los perros. It will sound like saluda a los perros. You will barely even hear that it's dragged out, and somebody's talking in a normal conversational pace. Even if they slow down, you're probably not going to even notice they're adding it on, because the a at the end of saluda slides into the a that's standing by itself. Y eso es. Okay. Buena pregunta. Hay otras preguntas. Any other questions? Things that came up? Algo difícil?
Yeah, I've got a quick one. My use of por versus para. And I'll give you just a quick phrase. I use para mi casa and then por 10 años. So for my house and then for 10 years. You know, that wasn't the phrase, but that was the phrase within the sentence. Para mi casa and por 10 años.
I'm trying to follow where the for my house fits
Okay,
in.
what I said was, me llevo bien con Jorge porque construimos muchos proyectos para mi casa. Mejor dijo,
Construimos, es difícil, construimos.
I have to use that word that I can't pronounce. It's not.
Es difícil. Ok, voy a escribirlo. Voy a escribirla aquí. Construimos. We build. Construimos. And we put a little more oomph on the imos, because that's the kind of verb it is. It's an I verb. Construimos muchos proyectos. Construimos muchos proyectos para mi casa o en mi casa. En mi casa o para mi casa, sí. Meaning there it's intended for, it's something you're building onto your property. Exacto, ¿no?
That's correct.
Ok, y entonces, ¿por muchos años?
Sí.
Por muchos años, duration of time. How long have you been construimos, build? Por muchos años. For many years. Sí.
Okay.
Tienes razón, you are correct. Vale, magnífico. ¿Hay más preguntas o no? ¿No? Bien. Vale, bueno, vamos a hablar de ir, irse, quedarse. Ir, irse, quedarse. ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre ir e irse? Ok, ¿recuerdan ustedes? Do you guys remember? Un momentito, tengo que poner la foto aquí. A ver, ¿recuerdan ustedes este video con Cata? Cata es Catalina, sí, Cata. Cata vive en Italia y Cata, Cata toca el cello. Sí, ok. Es música y enseña español también. Ir e irse, ir and irse. Y se dice abajo, it says below, to go away. And there is your clue, away. Irse just makes it away or off. Bien, en français, s'en aller. El italiano no sé. I don't know the Italian. Okay. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta del video? Do you have some question from that video that wasn't quite clear of this week or no? Okay. Y la diferencia entre ir e irse es simplemente que irse es más como decir go away, take off. You know, sometimes you just say, oh, I'm off. And people know you mean you're going, right? Okay. But with ir and irse, it's very likely you may not have anything after it. Because conversationally, the way people use irse is just, well, I'm leaving, and the implication is this place. You might say where you're leaving, what you're leaving for, but you know, often it's just done as me voy, I'm going. Or if it's in the past, me fui, I left, okay? If you're going to talk about a destination, ¿cómo se dice? What little word do we really need to make it understood? Voy a. You need an a. You need some kind of a direction word after ir. If it's just ir, And then you're going to mention the place you're going to. You really have to have that little word a. That little word a, la palabra a es importante. A is really an important word. So we're going to take a quick look at some words that talk about direction. Okay? Muy brevemente, very briefly. This will not take long. If we're going to use irse, often, that's it. Often it's not followed by anything. You know, you might tell where you're leaving from, you know, you might tell where you're going to, but very, very frequently with ir by itself, I shouldn't conjugate it yet, with ir by itself. So voy, vas, va, vamos, van, you know, vais if you're in Spain. With those, you really, really need to have some kind of a directional word, okay? And that word more often than not is just going to be the little word a. Vamos a, voy a, va. Yeah, there's another one. Va ends in a, and it will slide right into a. A means literally to, right? That you're going, you know, in the direction of. You're talking about an end point of where you're going to get to. Now, people, however, may have a couple other things. And of course, as people just throw in words and, you know, shoot, you were expecting the word a to come out of their mouths and it didn't. Instead of a, this word might come out of their mouths. Para. Por ejemplo, soy turista, si soy turista y voy a una ciudad muy grande, voy al museo en la ciudad, voy al museo. You may, instead of saying voy al museo, you might use voy para el museo. Para is also used as that word to in the direction of. Okay, meaning, because para means a destination, an end point, where you're going to wind up when you're done. Para. Be advised, depending on where you are, especially if it's in Mexico, or especially if it's in El Caribe, you may hear para abbreviated to pa. That could happen. And that can really throw you because that's people just speaking the shortened dialect form. Okay, well, why do people do that bothersome thing of instead of saying para, voy pa'l museo, voy pa'l museo. You know, you might hear people doing that. And I guess it is kind of just that you're being lazy. It's a way of shortening that word para. And people sometimes do that. So, you know, be aware that could happen. Like we shorten going to gonna. We do similar things with different kinds of words in English. It's shortening of that. Somebody instead of para, instead of pa, might use hacia, which really means more like towards. But that might be used to indicate, you know, direction. Es posible, it's possible. But all these words of a or para or hacia, they require that that verb is a verb of motion. So we use these words a, para, hacia with a verb of motion, with a verb that is indicating movement. Okay, bien. And we're going to look at the opposite of irse or ir, which might be termed this way, to stay. To stay is quedarse, es reflexivo. So you may go someplace and then you stay someplace. Okay, quedarse could mean momentarily, staying in a place. It could mean permanently staying in place. It could be referring to where you are lodged if you are a tourist. Quedarse, if it does not use a place, I should indicate this is when it's used with a place. Quedarse can also be used with an adjective. You're probably going to hear it more used with a place. So let's go back and look at that. We'll look at the adjective as a tag on. Quedarse with a place, you cannot use a, because a indicates movement and stay is not movement. So with verbs like estar, which also indicates to be in a place, yeah. With verbs like estar, with verbs like quedarse, where you don't have moving around, we cannot use a. We will use instead en. We will use en. Muy importante. Ok, por ejemplo, no se puede decir estoy a casa. You can't mix these two. You can't mix the two adjectives with these two categories of types of activities. You're never going to say voy en el museo. Voy en el museo. I'm going in the museum. Voy en el museo. No. Voy al museo. I'm going to the museum. Voy a la iglesia. I'm going to the church. Voy a la ciudad. But never voy en. I'm going in. Like I'm going in the house. Okay, you might say entro en la casa or entro a la casa, you might, but with ir, it's ir a, or ir para, or ir hacia, you know, if you're being more vague, hacia. But quedarse en, estar en, okay? Voy a casa, I'm going home. Estoy en casa, I'm at home. En is indicating at, that there's no movement, okay? It's stationary, and I'm going to use stationary A-R-Y or E-R-Y, no sé, I don't know. I always forget that rule. Okay, en es importante. No hay movimiento, there's no movement when you use en. So you've got to be using a verb that does not talk about movement, like just, you know, being in a place. ¿Vale? ¿Sí? Y saben, the way we'll use quedarse is me quedo en, te quedas en, right? You stay in, se queda en, perdón, nos quedamos. Es muy irregular. It's a really regular verb. Nos quedamos, se quedan. Bien, se quedan. So just like ir, you know, needs all those little pronouns. Quedar needs all these little pronouns. Okay, if you want to say staying in a place. Quedar can be used in other ways too, but we're just using it in the going, staying, coming, all these kind of movement things. Okay, bien, ¿entienden? ¿Entienden? ¿Me entienden o no? ¿Sí? ¿Vale? Bueno, okay. But this just kind of shows you that sometimes some of these verbs just are reflexive, right? Quedar without the me, te, no sé means something different. Without the me, te, no sé, which is used kind of a lot. Also, quedar by itself without the se reflexive thing just means to remain. So, okay, por ejemplo, me quedo en casa durante la cuarentena, during quarantine, durante la cuarentena, me quedo en casa, como ustedes, ¿no? Okay, that's one thing, me quedo en casa, pero, Not me quedo with an O, but me queda. Me queda. It remains to me, meaning I have left. Me queda media taza. Una taza, no. Media taza. Media taza de té. Me queda media taza de té. I've got a half a cup of tea left. So queda by itself means something is left over to somebody. Me queda media taza. I've got a half a cup left. The liquid is queda. The liquid is, it's conjugated for te. The tea is left over in here. Yeah? And it's left over to me. So that's the me part. Me queda, it's left for me. Me queda media taza de té. I've got a half a cup of tea left over. Bien, ¿sí? No es reflexivo, not me quedo. Me quedo en la taza de café. I'm staying in the cup of tea would make no sense. They'd look at you like, oh my God, what am I doing there? Otra vez, no entiendo, no entiendo. I don't get it, yeah. Pero me queda, okay? We're not going to worry about the me queda right now. We're going to worry about the irse, and y quedarse, y quedarse. Y vamos a practicar aquí con fotos. Vamos a practicar con fotos, como aquí. Es posible, si tengo un boleto de avión, ¿saben ustedes qué es boleto de avión? Boleto de avión es boleto de avión, boleto, ¿sí? Es boleto, ¿no? Sí. Es boleto. Ok. Si tengo en la mano un boleto de avión, es posible decir, I'm taking off for this place. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde? What might you say if you got this in your hand? Irse.
Me voy a Nueva York.
Sí, voy a Nueva York, pero también quizás, me voy a Nueva York. Me voy. I'm leaving now. Sí, tengo la maleta. I've got my suitcase. Tengo la maleta aquí en la mano. Me voy. I'm leaving. I'm going away. I'm leaving now. Voy a Londres. ¿Verdad? Me voy. Es posible decir, te vas a Berlín. ¿Vas a Berlín? No. No voy a Berlín, voy a Roma. Voy para Roma. ¿Sí? Si la destinación es Illinois, puedes decir ¿qué?
Voy a Chicago.
Voy a Chicago, bien, sí. Bueno. Me voy. Mi destinación es Francia. ¿A dónde voy?
Me voy a París.
Me voy a París. O just voy a París. Bien. Bueno, so that's, if you're going to a city, I say, me voy. I'm leaving.
Nueva York.
Voy al parque. Cuando me voy, voy a Nueva York y durante mis vacaciones en Nueva York, voy al parque, ¿no? Voy al parque central, que es un parque muy, muy grande. Ah, ¿a dónde voy? ¿A dónde voy aquí? ¿A dónde voy? Where am I going?
Voy a
Ah,
supermercado.
voy al mercado de frutas.
Sí,
Yeah,
un mercado de frutas. Una frutería. Una frutería.
Vegetales.
Vegetales, sí. A un mercado al aire libre, a un mercado. No es tanto, no es algo así como supermercado, ¿verdad? Es un mercado al aire libre. Open air market, ¿sí? Una frutería. Un mercado de verduras, veggies, ¿no? Bien. Ok. Pero voy al mercado, voy al parque, voy para el parque, es posible, voy para el parque, ¿bien? Pero si quiero hablar de después de llegar a donde estoy, where I am, donde estoy. Aquí, para usar quedar. ¿Dónde te quedas? ¿Dónde te quedas? Where are you staying?
Me quedo en el hotel.
Me quedo en un hotel. Me quedo en un hotel aquí. ¿O prefieres quedarte en un Airbnb? ¿Prefieres un apartamento o una casa como Airbnb? ¿O prefieres un hotel?
¿Prefieres un apartamento?
Un apartamento. Vale, sí. ¿Por qué prefieres un apartamento?
¿Es muy grande?
Es más grande. Es más grande que una habitación de hotel. Sí, claro. Algo más. Otro motivo, some other reason.
¿Tiene una cocina?
Tiene una cocina. Un Airbnb tiene cocina. A veces un hotel tiene una cocina, pero algo muy pequeña, ¿no? Una cocina muy pequeña. En un Airbnb tienes una cocina normal. Una cocina donde vive la gente normal. Ok, bien. Otro motivo. Another reason.
¿Tiene vecinos? Neighbors? ¿Tiene vecinos?
Es como un
Airbnb?
barrio.
Yeah, barrio.
Es como un barrio, ¿no? Claro, sí, hay vecinos.
Con personas saben las tiendas, los barrios.
Ok. ¿Cómo se dice people who know the town? No se usa saber. Las personas que saben, no. People who are familiar with. Es otro verbo.
¿Conocen?
Conocer.
Las personas conocen el barrio. En un Airbnb, los vecinos conocen el barrio, conocen las tiendas, conocen los restaurantes,
Sí.
conocen las tiendas que están cerca, ¿sí? Bien, sí. Ok, vale, bueno. Entonces, me quedo en un hotel o me quedo en un Airbnb, quizás es algo temporario. Maybe it's something even more temporary, this idea of staying. ¿Dónde me quedo? Son las 5, son las 6 de la tarde. Es tarde, pero me quedo, ¿dónde?
En la oficina.
Okay.
Me quedo en la oficina. I'm staying at the
Office.
Now, that doesn't have the same feel for me quedo en una habitación, does it? There you're thinking long term, yeah? Me quedo en un Airbnb, pero me quedo en la oficina. You're telling somebody, well, I'm taking a while, right? Me quedo en la oficina. ¿Por qué? Porque hay mucho trabajo, porque tengo un proyecto muy importante, ¿ok? Porque me pagan, they're paying me.
That's a good
Porque tengo un jefe terrible. Porque tengo un jefe fatal, because I've got a lousy boss. Tengo un jefe fatal. Mi jefe es fatal. Ok, muy antipático, muy antipático. No me gusta. Ok, bien. Ok, sometimes we use quedarse not to talk about staying. I just want to show you this idea. Sometimes we use it to mean that somebody was struck, that somebody feels a certain emotion. You know, they were dumbstruck by something. They were, me quedé atónito. I was left speechless. You may hear people using quedarse, not with staying in a place, but some feeling just like overcame them. Para que sepan, just so you know, that might happen. That might
And how
happen.
do you say that?
Me quedo, or me quedé. Usually it's used like with a past. Me quedé, and then an emotion. Me quedé atónito. Me quedé muy sorprendida. Kind of like the idea I was left in this state of mind. Okay. Now, you know, si eres muy avanzada, si eres muy avanzado, if you're very advanced, you may use that. You're more likely to use it in these other senses, but just don't be surprised. If they use it like with an emotion and a feeling thing, they say that what they're saying is they felt that way, okay? But usually you're going to be hearing it como turista, as a tourist, with this stuff about, you know, staying in a place. Going to this place, voy a, but me quedo en. Bien, okay, vale? Bien, all right. I want to show you one teeny tiny clip, because we're going to talk about a couple of verbs soon. And it's still on this theme of motion. It's still on the same theme. You may not have caught this the first time you listened to it. I think I kind of told you this is going to come up and bite us in the behind, however. I'm going to hope that this pulls off. I got to move my screens around. Pueden ver. Can you see the big screen? Con Raquel? Okay, I'm going to play this clip because it is so fleeting, but it is muy importante. It comes and it goes and okay.
Ahora tengo que hacer planes con Ángela para viajar a México. Ojalá don Fernando siga mejor. Y Arturo. Tengo que hablar con Arturo sobre esas hojas de recuerdos.
Laura, querida, qué gusto haberte visto.
Nos veremos pronto, abuelita.
¿Cómo no?
Adiós, abuela.
Adiós, Ángela, que tengas un buen viaje.
Te llamo desde México.
Claro.
Adiós.
Adiós. Dolores.
¡Raquel! Voy.
There it is. Voy.
Yeah, why do you say I go?
Why? What were they just telling? Why was that said? Okay. They were calling her, were they not? Raquel, boy. What she's really saying is, I'm coming.
I'm coming. Yeah.
Right.
But that does not sound natural to us. But people will do that all the time. You know, you called the taxi driver, you've got a taxi guy who maybe waited a little longer, you asked him to wait. And you know, he's like, hey, my meter's running. Ah, boy, yeah, I'm coming. Okay, so that is what happens literally when somebody says, I'm coming. So we're going to take a look at that because this is not the normal thing that you're used to. I mean, we just don't think that way. How do you use, because it's still in the realm of motion, okay? How do you use ir or venir? Ir to go and venir to come. And it depends on the speaker. Que lata, what a pain that is. Que lata. Okay, we're gonna watch something pretty short on this. 6 minutos, 6 minutes, pero ayuda, it helps. So we're gonna watch this. I hope I've got the sound up. Let me test the sound.
Ok, pero bien.
Loud enough? I think so. Creo que sí. I think that's loud enough. See? Yeah?
¿Vienes tú para acá?
Yeah. ¿Vienes tú para acá?
¿O voy yo para allá?
And this is what people do on the phone or face to face. They're debating about who's going to wind up where, right? Who's coming, who's going. ¿Vienes tú para acá? Are you coming here? O voy yo para, or am I coming there? Okay, I'm going to let it roll.
¿Vienes tú o voy yo? Ok, está bien. Voy yo para allá. Ir, venir. Let's talk about it. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Soy Paula. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notification bell. Today we're going to talk about the difference between ir and venir. It's quite simple if you translate it. Ir means to go and venir means to come. But many students struggle with this, especially if your native tongue is English. Why? Let me give you an example. Let's say that someone is knocking on your door or the doorbell rings. In English, you would say, I'm coming, I'm coming. But if you translate it into Spanish, that would be yo vengo. And that's a mistake. You have to say voy, 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 ya voy. Or if someone asks you, are you coming for dinner? ¿Vienes para cenar? You probably say in English, yes, I'm coming. But if you translate it, that would be sí, yo vengo. And that, my friend, is a mistake. That's not correct. We have to use ir. We have to say sí, voy. ¿Vienes a cenar? Sí, yo voy. Okay, so here's the thing. Ir is used when you are going from point A to point B. In other words, you are moving from your location, from where you are, to another place. Te mueves desde donde estás hacia otro lugar. Te mueves desde donde estás hacia otro lugar. Por ejemplo, voy al supermercado. ¿Necesitas algo? Voy al supermercado. ¿Necesitas algo? Or let's see this conversation. Hola Laura, ¿vas a la fiesta en casa de Beto esta noche? Sí, sí voy. ¿Y tú? Yo también voy. Voy como a las 8.
Okay, and really, how you probably would express those ideas is, are you going to the party? Or are you coming to the party? Yes, I'm coming to the party. Oh, I'm coming too. Okay, so I know it says going to the party, but in English, you know, a lot of times we express this as, yeah, you coming tonight? Yep, I'm coming tonight too. And the way you say I'm coming is not venir. It's ir, voy.
Ok, nos vemos allá. Ok, nos vemos. So here, Laura is somewhere, let's say her house, and I am at my house as well. And the party, it's at Beto's house. That's why we're using ir in all the conversation, because we both, Laura y yo, have to move from where we are to Beto's house. Tenemos que movernos desde donde estamos hacia la casa de Beto. Okay? Is that clear? Now, venir is used when someone is coming towards you. So, from the speaker perspective, the movement is from somewhere to where the speaker is.
So it depends on your perspective. Venir is used much, much more when you see that somebody's coming towards you. And I'm using venir because I see somebody else coming my way. And that's really the use for venir.
Desde un lugar hacia el lugar en donde está el hablante. Desde un lugar hacia el hablante. ¿Ok? Vine al supermercado. ¿Necesitas algo? Vine al supermercado. ¿Necesitas algo? In this situation, I am at the supermarket. So my location and where I wanted to be is the same. That's why I'm using venir, okay? Earlier, I told you, voy al supermercado. But now I am at the supermarket. That's why I'm using vine al supermercado. So I could say, estoy en el supermercado. Vine al supermercado. Now imagine this. I got home and my husband asks me, ¿de dónde vienes? ¿De dónde vienes? I have to say, vengo del supermercado. Vengo del supermercado.
Okay, see that? We're both in the same place. So I'm saying, yep, okay, I just got here now. I came from the supermarket. Vengo de.
All right. Now let's see what happened with Laura and Beto's party. Laura, ¿en dónde estás? Estoy en casa de Beto. Vine a la fiesta, pero no te veo. Se me hizo tarde. Voy en unos minutos. Ok, pero vienes, ¿verdad? Sí, sí.
Vienes. Now, she uses vienes there because she's in the place. And she wants her friend to be going from wherever she is to where she's located. And that's why she uses vienes. Right? When they're both talking on the phone, they're talking about going to a party. Neither one of them is at the party yet at the beginning. Yeah? And then it's ir. But now that she's at the party, from her perspective as a speaker, she uses vienes. And Laura answers
Yo
her.
voy, tranquila.
Voy tranquila, I'm coming. Settle down. Chill. Chill, I'm coming. Yo voy. Her friend on the other end of the line says, yo voy tranquila. Yeah, chill out.
So here, Laura is still at her house. That's why she's using ir. Voy en unos minutos. Sí, yo voy. As for me, I am at Beto's house. I am where I was expected to be. That's why I'm using venir. Pero vienes, ¿verdad? Pero vienes, ¿verdad? Does it make sense? I hope so. One more thing. When you think about ir, the words allá or allí take place. voy para allá, okay? And aquí or acá are associated with venir. Vienes para acá, okay? So, voy yo para allá o vienes tú para acá. That's it for today. I hope it's more clear
Okay.
now. And if
Vale, momentito. And I need to stop. Okay, okay. I'm going to show you one other thing because sometimes there's body language involved with this. We're not going to watch this whole video. We're just going to see. Uy, ¿dónde está? You know, and this is how people, when they talk on the phone, you know, ven tú, hey, you come here. Tengo que buscar. Okay. Momento. Okay. Here's a little body language thing that happens sometimes with venir.
Oh, I like him.
Whoa, that went way, it's the wrong place.
Sí, sí. Can't really hear him.
Oh, you can't hear him? No?
can.
Okay, momentito. Momentito, perdón. Check. Okay, let's see if this works.
Que va, no, que vengas, ni de coña.
Oh, you still missed it.
Estamos las dos personas, dentro de un mismo espacio. Pues en este caso ocurre exactamente lo mismo. Tenemos en cuenta el punto de referencia de la persona que está hablando. Te voy a poner otro ejemplo. Psst, ven.
Ven. This thing here is what happens. This or this with ven, hey, come over here. And by the way, probably not a good idea to do that if that happens to you. That might very well happen. That can happen. Yeah. Ven, yeah. So, you know, you may get that body language thing going on here too. Okay, está bien. Okay, vale. Bueno. Muy bien. Vamos a hablar un poquito. Sí. Nos queda mucho tiempo. Yeah, we got a lot of time left over here. Okay, fantástico. Vamos a hablar de este episodio de Destinos. Me imagino que ustedes ya miraron el episodio de en Puerto Rico y qué pasó. ¿A dónde van Raquel y Ángela, las dos mujeres? ¿A dónde van primero en este episodio? ¿A dónde van?
A un banco.
A un banco. ¿Por qué van a un banco? ¿Por qué van hacia el banco?
Obtener permisión de viaje.
Ángela necesita permiso de su trabajo. Ángela trabaja en el banco, ¿verdad? Su empleo es en el banco. Entonces, Ángela necesita el permiso de su jefa. De su jefa. Boss, de su jefa. Para ir a México. Okay. Ángela toma una semana, unos días, 2 semanas quizás, para ir a México. Y Ángela le explica a su jefa que es un asunto familiar. Familiar no es familiar. Es un asunto, it's a thing, es un asunto familiar, it's a family matter. Es un asunto familiar, ¿sí? Y habla con su jefa. Perfecto. Y tiene permiso, ¿verdad? Entonces, después del banco, ¿a dónde van las dos mujeres? Después del banco, ¿a dónde van?
Universidad de Puerto Rico.
A la universidad, y bien, van a la universidad, van a una clase en la universidad, ¿no? ¿Quién es este hombre? ¿Quién es?
Jorge.
Es Jorge.
El novio.
Jorge es el novio. Sí, es el novio de quién? Ángela. Bueno, Jorge es el novio de Ángela y es profesor de drama. Es profesor de drama y tiene una clase. Las dos mujeres van a la clase de Jorge. Y bueno, sí, ella explica un poquito. Bueno, qué bueno que estás aquí. Jorge va a Nueva York con frecuencia, ¿no? Explica en el episodio de la telenovela que aunque Jorge es profesor en Puerto Rico, Jorge también va a Nueva York para su trabajo. ¿Bien? Mientras hablando, ¿qué pasa aquí? ¿Qué pasa aquí? ¿Quién es este hombre? Mientras las dos están allá, el tío de Ángela muestra la casa de Ángel a un hombre, ¿sí? Quieren vender, la familia quiere vender la casa del papá de Ángela, ¿no? Quieren vender, they want to sell, quieren vender la casa del papá de Ángela. They want to sell Angela's dad's house. Ok. Y él muestra la casa. Y Ángela busca. ¿Qué busca? What is she looking for, Ángela? Busca un apartamento. Un apartamento cerca de la
casa.
Sí, una nueva casa, un nuevo lugar, una casa nueva, un apartamento nuevo cerca de la universidad, para estar cerca de la universidad, ¿no? Entonces, Ángela busca un nuevo apartamento y explican que muchos puertorriqueños viven en Nueva York porque dicen que, explican que es importante que Jorge trabaje de vez en cuando en Nueva York. Bien. Y entonces ella explica algunas cosas a Arturo. Son noticias tristes porque su hermano se murió. His brother is dead. He needs to explain that, ¿verdad? Y ella dice así, Jorge trabaja en la universidad. He works at the university. Y sí, estaba trabajando en Nueva York en una película. He was working in New York on a movie. Y es bastante frecuente para muchos puertorriqueños trabajar en Nueva York. Hay una comunidad muy grande de puertorriqueños en Nueva York. Y hablan muchísimo. ¿Entienden ustedes la cosa de Nueva York? Do you guys understand that whole thing they went through about New York and why people are in New York from there? ¿Sí? En los años 40, in the 40s, en los años 40, era muy popular mudarse desde Puerto Rico hasta Nueva York. ¿Ok? Y por eso tenemos el drama musical de West Side Story. Por eso. Porque muchos puertorriqueños se mudaron a Nueva York. Many Puerto Ricans moved to New York. Y por eso ocurrió la historia de West Side Story, ¿verdad? Ok. Pero ustedes entienden por qué, ¿verdad? You understand the why. ¿Bien? Ok. Y hablan de trabajar en Puerto Rico y un poquito de la historia de Puerto Rico, porque hay oportunidades, como siempre, aquí en Estados Unidos. Ok. Y el tío de Ángela la llama. He does what to her? La llama.
Calls her.
La llama y dice, Ángela, tengo a alguien que está muy interesado. I got some guy who's really
Buy the house.
interested. Sí, alguien quiere comprar la casa de su papá. Y ella se siente un poquito muy estresada. She feels pretty stressed about this whole thing, moving and everything's up. Notice what he says to this guy when he's showing the house. Sígame. This is like one of those commands they showed you in the video. Sígame.
Follow me.
He's showing him around. So he says, follow me. Sígame. Sígame. And as he's touring around the house, sígame. Bien. Y explica así, aquí está la sala, aquí está el comedor, la cocina y todos los cuartos de la casa, ¿sí? Y aquí tiene ¿cómo se llama este espacio? What do we call this space? ¿Recuerdan ustedes la palabra?
Marilyn, I can't see the film anymore.
Oh, no?
No, I
No.
Oh, perdón.
To see you.
Wow, okay, perdón. Okay, ¿pueden ver?
Sí.
I think this is happening because I'm moving the film.
El
Thank you for
balcón.
telling me.
El
Perdón.
balcón.
El balcón. Se dice que es un balcón. Un balcón. A veces se dice terraza. They might use terrace for this as well, pero un balcón. ¿Sí? Y el balcón tiene vista al mar. Tiene vista al mar. It has a view to the sea. Tiene vista al mar. Vista al mar refiere a lo que se ve desde el balcón. Desde el balcón. ¿Verdad? Ok, muy bien. A ver, momentito. I think I may have to move to the parts and then share the screens separately. Okay. Primero, Ángela ve un apartamento. Segundo, o después, después del apartamento. Ángela va a un townhouse, quizás un condominio, ¿no? Y entonces ella tiene que decidir, ¿me quedo en un townhouse o me quedo en un apartamento?
Pero
Y recuerdan ustedes lo que deciden. Ella prefiere ¿cuál? ¿Prefiere cuál?
Apartamento vista al mar.
Prefiere el apartamento.
Ricardo, papá.
Exacto, Keith, sí. Porque el apartamento tiene vista al mar. Porque tiene vista al mar, ¿verdad? Y por eso, therefore, por eso ella prefiere, sí, el apartamento. Bien. Y entonces ella va a quedarse en su nuevo apartamento. Va a quedarse en su nuevo apartamento porque prefiere el apartamento con el balcón con vista al mar. ¿Bien? Ok. Ok. Fantástico. Ellos usaron, they used some words, usaron unas palabras y vamos a quizás repasar un poquito, un momentito. ¿Dónde está? Necesito mi otra pantalla. Okay. They use a few words in here that might have sounded a little odd to you. They use a few words like, right at the end, see? She would have talked about things being, they use the word vecindario. Vecindario, por ejemplo. Y voy a escribir la palabra aquí, vecindario. What word does that look like that you already know?
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
It looks like the word for neighbor. So sometimes when you don't know a word, if it kind of looks like neighbor, this means not the neighbors, but el área, la zona.
The neighborhood?
Vecindario is neighborhood. Vecindario is like saying barrio. It's a synonym for barrio. Es un sinónimo. It's a synonym for barrio. Okay? So, el vecindario. And she talks too about she refers to something bastante grandes. Bastante is a word that can sometimes have a bunch of different meanings. Bastante can mean enough, but if you pair it up with a description, son bastante grandes, they're pretty big. Bastante aquí no es enough. Bastante es como quite or rather, right? El apartamento es bastante grande. The apartment is quite large. Okay? El hombre es bastante importante. Wow, he's quite important. He's rather important. So you may hear bastante teamed up with a description word. And when they're doing that, they're saying something is quite whatever that quality is. Okay? Another phrase that I thought might be important for you to know was lo antes posible. When they were in the bank, cuando estaban en el banco, Raquel says, lo antes posible, meaning they needed to take off as soon as possible. Lo antes posible. Lo antes posible, it before possible. But what they really mean is as soon as possible. Lo antes posible. Okay. Y otro término. Ella dijo, cuando Raquel habla con Arturo y Raquel le explica a Arturo que su hermano Ángel se murió. She explains that, you know, Ángel has died. Que Ángel se murió. And they're talking about, you know, oh, wait, we're in Puerto Rico. Are you coming to Puerto Rico? No, we're going to Mexico, right? And they're kind of trying to figure out who's where. Wait, where do you need to go? And they finally decide. She says to Arturo, te llamo, and it does not mean I'm calling you right now. It's like saying I'm going to call you. Te llamo en cuanto lo sepa. Te llamo en cuanto lo sepa quiere decir I'll call you. You're using the present to talk about near future. So people may do it. Te llamo might mean I will call you. Es posible. Te llamo en cuanto lo sepa, en cuanto lo sepa. Means this.
As soon as I find out.
As soon as I find out. En cuanto lo sepa, sepa comes from saber. Qué raro. How weird is that? En cuanto lo sepa. As soon as I find out. And why does saber look like sepa? It's because I'll call you as soon as I find out. Do I know yet? I don't know yet. And when that event has not happened yet, these verbs go into weird things called subjunctive. So, en cuanto lo sepa means as soon as I find out, and it means I haven't found out yet, and I got no clue. Okay? So because of that, that's why it's not lo sé, I know it, because I don't know it. En cuanto lo sepa, as soon as I find out, meaning it will happen sometime, but that time has not yet arrived. And that's why they use an odd verb with that. And I thought that might have confused you. Es posible. Okay? Okay. Magnífico. Una cosita más. Lo pasé muy bien. When they were in the car, they were tooling around, and Angela was ribbing Raquel a little bit about, oh, wow, Arturo's way into you. Yeah. And she goes, oh, me gustó. Yeah, I liked him. And the me gustó really has a romantic connotation to it. The me gustó. Me gustó. I really liked him. I was interested in him. Me gustó. Raquel admits this. And so, you know, Angela gives her a little grief over that. But Raquel says at one point, lo pasé muy bien. Lo pasé muy bien. Literally, I passed it very well. It is not talking about her bathroom habits. Lo pasé muy bien is past. Lo pasé muy bien means I had a good time. That's one of the most common ways to say I had a good time. You will never take the verb tener and say I had tener a good time. Nobody ever says that. The way you say, probably the most common way to say I had a good time is this phrase, lo pasé muy bien. I had a really good time. I guess it's referring to having passed time. Yeah. I spent that time. Lo pasé muy bien. So if you ever want to say, I had a good time to somebody, they took you out for dinner, you're leaving the restaurant, yeah, you want to assure them, wow, that was really nice. Lo pasé muy bien. I had a really good time. Lo pasé muy bien. The lo just refers to it the whole time that you spent. Lo pasé muy bien. Okay? Or if we had a good time, lo pasamos muy bien. Lo pasamos muy bien. Es igual, it's the same. It's just saying that we had the good time instead of I had the good time. Lo pasé muy bien. Vale. Okay. ¿Entienden? ¿Entienden? A few things I thought might have sounded a little strange. Okay. A ver. Bueno, ¿tienen ustedes alguna pregunta sobre el episodio? Do you guys have any questions about that episode or something that you, Patricia?
The word D-A-L-E, they use dale, like dale.
Oh,
Somewhere, I
dale.
don't remember where. What is that?
Dale, that? What is that? Qué buena pregunta.
Where did it
This
come
does not mean that it does not mean what you think. And you probably are thinking, I don't even know what to think about that.
Right.
Es muy común. This is very, very common in all of Latin American. Okay, all of Latin American Spanish. Dar means to give. That comes from dar. Wait a minute, give it to him? Huh? What the heck is that? It does not mean that. It is not about giving anything. Dale is a command. Dale is used quite often when you want to say, oh, come on. Or if you're cheering, you go to un partido de fútbol. Tú vas a un partido de fútbol. You're going to a soccer match, yeah? And people are yelling in the stands, dale, 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 dale. Go, man, go, dale. Dale is used as encouragement at a sporting event. Dale is, you're telling somebody, hey, go for it, dale. Especially in Mexico, they love to attach le to all kinds of things. Like this too. Ándale, ándale. Everybody's heard ándale. Yeah?
Ándale, ándale.
Ándale. Move it. Let's move it here. Let's keep it moving. Ándale. Right? Literally, they're telling you, let's keep it going. All right, don't just sit there. Ándale. Bien, ya, dale. Okay. Otra pregunta. Any other question on anything you heard through that episode? ¿Algo más? ¿Sí? ¿No? Nada. Nada. Son las 7:30. We're up to 7:30. Okay. Magnifico. I will give you the link to the next episode, which is going to get very, very interesting. See, I have not yet picked a theme for next week. So if you have a burning question or something you would like to do, let me know. Otherwise, I will pick my own. And I'll try to weave some conversational things, and I'll send you a link with some conversational topics, some things you can use in small group again. See? Okay. Yeah. And maybe I'll include a little drill with quedar when it's not staying, but when you have stuff left over. Like you want to tell people, I've got 15 minutes, I've got an hour, yeah. Oh, I've only got this amount of money left. Yeah, you pull your pocket inside out. I don't have anything. Yeah, that kind of thing. We'll do a little bit with quedar, but not reflexive quedar, the other quedar, just a little bit. That won't take a whole hour of work by any means, maybe 5 minutes or so. And I would like to spend some time on some verbs that do cause confusion, like ir and venir. Those things that are close in meaning, but they kind of have a different connotation. and they cause confusion sometimes. And I'm kind of deciding between llevar and a couple of other things. Llevar, el verbo llevar, all the different meanings of llevar. Llevar, when you want to say that you're taking something somewhere, when you want to say that you're taking somebody somewhere, all those kinds of things for llevar. I would like to spend some time on that. Okay, and maybe even dejar if we have time. Vale? Sí?
Sí.
Magnifico. Okay, if you have some other idea, feel free to email it to me. I can always include that. Y nos vemos el miércoles, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Muy bien.